There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives.
Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses. And get this man a shield.
Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe. But this does put a smile on my face.
Who the hell are you guys?
Hello, hello, hello.
He is going too serious.
Hello, 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 and welcome to tonight's Let's Talk. Tonight we're talking about the MCU, its impact on cinema, and impact on all of us, because it's, you know, it started with an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people to see if they could become something more, and when we needed them, they would fight the battles that we never could. So,
Did you? Hold on. If you're gonna quote that, I gotta quote something.
hold on, well, hold on.
Did you have it written in advance?
No, hold on. Before everyone gets all excited, because I know everyone was excited for this Let's Talk, and first things first, let's introduce ourselves. I'm the host. I'm the host of tonight, this evening. My name's Amore. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Let's Talk. And now, if I see Danny's in the Let's Talk channel, but I think she's probably still cooking dinner. Oh no, there she is.
No one here. Hello.
Hello, Danny. Welcome. And we also have Renee. And we also have G Will. I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, good talk. And we also have Jesse.
Heyo.
And we have Joel. Joel's in the chat. Hello, Let's Talk, buddy.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
We have Kate Nader.
I'm Kate. I review these movies a lot.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
Hold on, we gotta get through the introductions. Hold on, we gotta get through introductions.
Sorry.
It's okay. We also have Mario. Welcome, Mario. We have Ogiga99. Welcome to the Let's Talk.
Call me Ross.
Ross, you got it. Remy Tim, we got the Timster. Welcome, Tim.
Woo.
And we also got Ryan.
What's up, dude?
What's up, dude? Studios. As you can see, tonight's game choice for the background noise is the Lego Marvel Avengers game, as there really isn't another Marvel game out there that's kind of fun. But, you know, to each their own. Yeah, but that's more Capcom centrance.
But Lego Avengers was my favorite.
Yeah, it's the most funniest and the most cleverest. Right now I'm actually going through the
Lego games just go off the movies.
Yeah, and they actually with the Lego Marvel game, they actually do take the clips and the sounds from the Marvel movies, or at least in this one they did.
That was the first Lego game I played where they did that, and I liked it a lot.
It was really funny.
Just the Star Wars ones, personally, the old ones. But, yeah.
Oh, Lego Star Wars, those were the ones that really started it all, really. But tonight's not really talking about a Lego night. No, that'll be a different night. Oh, it just walked off.
That'd be nice.
But tonight we are talking about how crazy the MCU has gotten and how big it's gotten. It's let me just look at this number really quick. It's a $11 trillion industry as far as total revenue made across all movies and stuff. It's a little ridiculous, and Disney's probably like really raking in the dough there. Thank you everybody so much for coming out tonight. This is by far our biggest Let's Talk turnout next to the story episode. If you guys haven't checked out our other episodes of Let's Talk, please do. That's in our YouTube channel. We have a playlist whole dedicated to it. Also, for those watching, just, always, this is an evolving night. Just let me know about the audio as far as if it needs to get turned up, turned down. And for those that are in the Discord, I will try my best to turn those that are low and turn those that are too high down. Now, to start off the evening, we are going to be talking about how crazy the latest movie was, which was Infinity War. Oh, and of course, as it all goes with tonight, huge spoiler warning for all the MCU movies, because we're going to be talking about all of them. We're going to talk about deleted scenes. We're going to talk theories. We're going to talk all that cool stuff, and then we're going to talk about like how absolutely nuts it's been as far as like the industry has been concerned. But tonight, let's get started with the latest one, and the latest and greatest, that was Infinity War. I'm more than really hoping that everyone here has seen it.
Yep, seen it.
Okay.
I saw it twice, and last time was Monday.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Hey, still teared up over Spidey's death. Cried the first time. Starting right off.
I warned it. I warned you guys. I warned it.
First person to just go straight into spoilers. I mean, if you want, I can just read off the casualty list.
No, please not.
You've been here for a really, really long time.
Isn't dead.
There's a lot of, half the universe is kind of gone, so yeah, it's going to be a very long list.
Extra number 3, extra number 5.
Oh, Stanley! So, with... Discord is quiet across the board. Thank you, honey! Hold on, let me just... No, it's not your fault. It's how it is on my end as far as my setup is concerned. If
I have a tendency to talk loud and over people, so if I start doing that, just yell.
Don't worry. I try my best to moderate and make sure everyone gets a fair chance at getting their talking.
I'm kind of guilty of that too.
Yeah. So, like I was mentioning though, tonight, we're going to start off with Infinity War. Overall, let's go off with our first impressions of the movie. How did everyone actually think of the movie? We'll start with Danny, if you want to let us know how'd you think of the movie.
I loved the movie. It was up there with my top 3 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. It was good. I really don't have many complaints about it at all.
All right, and now Renee, what was your opinion about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely up there with the MCU movies that I've seen, for sure. It's just it just started, it was a great out, that there's going to be a sequel. This is definitely, it was definitely a good first parter, instead of being, too cliffhangery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, yes, but, there was a great pacing with it, and I did like that. Besides sobbing, I
think we all sobbed.
Amari and Danny, God, it's I did not handle it well, but yeah,
Same.
it was just a great movie.
All right, and we actually have someone already in the chat saying that after the movie, they walked out of saying no way they're going to be able to see it again, but after seeing it one more time, it helped appreciate it a lot more, and I couldn't agree more. When I saw it a second time, I did learn to appreciate, after being starstruck and just in awe of the whole film. After it was over the second time, I was just able to appreciate the amount of work and effort that was put into this damn franchise. Now, Jesse, what was your opinion about the Infinity War?
I thought it was really well written, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, the writing in this one was actually really well done. The jokes were spot on, and even some of the more improvised moments, like Batista's famous. Now I'll give you more one reason. Why is Gamora?
Why is Gamora?
It's such a phenomenal little insert, and how well these guys have gotten to become attached to their characters. Now,
yeah, but my personal favorite with the movie is how they did the hero's journey, but with Thanos instead.
Yes, they gave Thanos the ultimate kind of hero turn on the silver screen, just giving him the chance to sympathize with him, sympathize with this big bad, to understand why he's doing all this.
He's still a dick, though.
Yeah, a little bit. He's, a madman, but still.
It's an argument that's ongoing with my friends and I about, because I enjoyed the movie, my girlfriend did not, a lot of my friends didn't, some of them did, some of them didn't. My girlfriend's taken an entire class about villains and stuff, and she was she absolutely hated Thanos, because none of us really like the whole, equivalent of, love to what Gamora went through, because, as she said, that wasn't love, it was really kind of just unhealthy and straight up abusive, but it's a whole big argument. I did enjoy Thanos as a villain, as a character, but he's a fucking dick. Thanos did many things wrong.
Hashtag Thanos did nothing wrong. Now, Joelle, what was your opinion about the movie? I know you yourself is a huge MCU fan.
I really liked it. I felt that there were some things that were pushed to the side, but that's going to happen because you have 40 characters on screen. I felt that what they were able to do was very groundbreaking because it's not something we've ever had. They could have easily messed it up, and it could have been just, oh, we're never going to get a movie like this in our lifetime. Doesn't work. They proved it can work to an extent. And but yeah, they pulled it off. They pulled it off in a way that I wasn't expecting. They made the movie about about Thanos that I wasn't really expecting. You go into these movies thinking, oh, it's gonna be maybe half about Thanos, and then the half is gonna be about how to defeat him and everything. But this was just first act was you get introduced to him, you get introduced to the Black Order, and it just it doesn't let up too. The pacing is continued throughout the whole movie, and it's very set piece after set piece.
Yeah, I would agree very heavily that the pacing is very well done in Infinity War. Now, Kate, we heard you mouth off your opinion real quick, so we're just gonna. That's okay. That's fine.
Okay. I've seen it twice. I super enjoyed it. I loved all the characters. I'd actually thought when I was going into it, I thought it was going to be more serious because everyone was hyping it up. It's oh no, it's going to be terrible. Everyone's going to die. So hearing all the jokes was mood whiplash, where it was everyone's supposed to die. Why is everyone laughing? I have my own opinions about all the characters, which we can get into later, because I guess we're just going over initial opinions. I super enjoyed it, though, both times I've seen it.
That's good.
I don't usually cry at movies, and Spider-Man, at the end, he didn't want to go, guys. At one point I really wanted to say, upon the second watching, the thing that I came out of it about was me jokingly saying to my friends, the real villain of this movie was Peter Dinklage's character because he doesn't know how to make a damn axe. I watch videos on metallurgy and forging often, and that's not how you make a weapon, guys. You don't cast it. No, you don't cast it. You have to. That's not how it works.
But it's space.
It's space magic, space comics, all that cool stuff.
He's the real villain because if he'd actually made it right, it wouldn't be casted before and would have gone through fast, and we couldn't have chopped off, so it would have chopped him in half. But he had to cast.
Sorry.
I have opinions about forging, but I did enjoy it. That's just.
Yeah, but that also doesn't explain a man who can control thunder out of his body like he's like.
Yeah, Norse mythology and everything just kind of goes with it, and they go along with it. But anyway, moving forward. Mario, what was your opinion about Infinity War?
I thought with the Russo brothers they could do, with the amount of characters they have, was something that was never seen before, and I just loved the movie. Really impressed with the Russo brothers and what they were able to do, especially
Hello.
with the people.
Hello.
Yes, you're right. The Russo brothers did a fantastic job with how they directed the film and how they actually managed to squeeze all those big stars in that, almost 3-hour movie.
It could be me, but I feel like everyone had an ample amount of screen time. I just felt that way, at least.
Yeah, and finally, also all the characters were able to say that were able to actually, act out with all the other people in the universe. Like finally the fact that Iron Man meets the Guardians of the Galaxy, you think to yourself, that's right, they don't know each other. And for the first few seconds, they're duking it out because they don't know each other. They don't know who's on what side. Now, going on to people's opening thoughts about Infinity War, we're gonna just move right along to Josh. Josh, welcome to the Let's Talk. And what was your thoughts about Infinity War?
Hello.
Hello.
I liked it, but however, I feel that whenever Part 2 comes out, I'm gonna enjoy this movie far less.
Oh boy.
You're gonna enjoy Part 1 far less?
Because when Part 2 comes out, almost guaranteed that half, if not all, of the deaths that happen in this movie will get retracted anyways. So I feel less bad about any of it happening.
Oh yeah.
That goes without saying.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
It waters down the feeling I had when I watched it. Oh, they died. Oh, but wait, they're just gonna come back anyways. Man, it's not that bad.
That's gonna be their biggest issue.
I feel like that's just a comic book thing in general. Like, no one's not as dying in comic books.
Yeah, of course.
I think it doesn't diminish the story that was told.
No.
No. I'm not saying it diminishes the story. I'm saying it's gonna diminish the feeling I got when those characters die.
I think you also need to look forward to who they're gonna trade in terms of lives too. They're not gonna bring back all of those people and then not kill anybody.
Yeah, because
that's my worry.
We'll get more into our death theories and more into who's gonna stay alive, who's gonna stay dead as we move further into the night. I just want to make sure everyone gets their voices heard real quick. So Ross, if you want to let us know how you thought Infinity War was.
I'm not sure on ranking because once it gets to the top, I'm like, there's so many good ones, but it's way up there. I was really impressed by how they balanced all those characters because that was insane. Like, even though they split them up into groups, and like when you think about it, you realize Steve and Tony didn't speak a single word to each other in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
And yet they had very prominent parts in the movie.
They were able to do that and make it. And even though I had known, like, not even for spoilers, I figured out what the ending was going to be. Who was going to die, but I'm like, based on knowledge comics, yeah, he's going to snap his fingers and that's going to be the end.
Yeah.
I didn't cry, but it was still really well done emotionally, and I still felt like, holy shit.
And everyone does need to remember, when you're seeing that movie for the first time, they need to remember that, yes, this is just part 1, and it's going to end like this. This is pretty much the peak of the movie. We're now going to come to the next part where, we get the resolution and everything, if we follow typical storytelling. Now, Tim, what was your opinion about the Infinity Wars?
Saw it Thursday night, and it blew me away, to be honest. Like the Russos did an amazing job. Like, I feel like, after Civil War, which I see as sort of like their audition for this. Mm-hmm. If that's fair.
Was...
Like, the pacing was great. Like, like people have said, and like some things even surprised me. Like the whole thing with the Soul Stone and Red Skull. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I knew Red Skull was alive since the end of Cap 1. I didn't think he was gonna be there though.
Oh no, that's
the Russo brothers' first movie was Winter Soldier.
Speculation of him being alive, sure, but no one was like, oh, he's going to show up in Infinity War, or
exactly,
if people were like, oh, maybe Thanos will bring back a bunch of villains for a giant fight, not like, oh my god, he's there. Sorry.
Yeah, he's the keeper of the Soul Stone. He's the keeper of the knowledge of the Soul Stone. Like not really. People were expecting that type of cameo.
He looks like one of a comic references of Nick Fury in the comics of he's turning into a Watcher. If you know comics, I know comics.
Oh right, yes, with the Watchers and everything.
Yeah.
Now continuing, Ryan, what would you say your opinion about it was?
And I'll be honest, I walked out of that movie shocked, like I spent the last like 10-15 minutes watching the movie with like my hands over my mouth because I was just like so surprised by like.
Same. Yeah.
It was like constant like gasp, you know what I mean?
Very true, very true. I remember when you start when the movie starts, they start with Heimdall and Loki, biting the bullet, and it's just like right off the bat. There's no time to mourn over them either. It's just this is Thanos' strength right now. This is what he is.
I miss Heimdall.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Loki's so not dead. Loki is not dead.
No, Loki's dead.
No. Listen. This is the man of trickery. This is the god of trickery and mischief. He's so out of character for him to.
Oh my god!
He can't just straight up attack the superpowered guy who he's gone up against and lost. Like that's not going to work for him. He cannot be dead.
Okay. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold on.
I'm talking over
Let's relax a little bit. Let's relax. I understand we all get very emotional about this topic. We get emotional about we get very emotional about the topic of our favorite characters in the MCU. Evan, please. We get very emotional about the MCU and how it, impacts us all. I know a lot of us get attached to these characters. I, for one, was super attached to Mark Ruffalo and his portrayal of the Hulk.
Oh yeah, same.
In Thor Ragnarok, when he jumps off the plane and face plants onto the bridge, I thought that was a straight up metaphor for him being dead, and all we were gonna have is just the Hulk.
Ooh, yeah.
But when he shows up in Doctor Strange's apartment, just like shirtless and is there and says like Thanos is coming, and just I breathed such a sigh of relief that he was okay. Now,
the trailer?
Going forward, no, I actually, fun fact, Sam and I didn't see any promotional materials for Infinity War going in. We had not seen any trailers. All we've seen was maybe a poster. We saw no trailers, no interviews, nothing going into this movie.
Dude,
that's actually how I went into it.
That's insane.
It was very difficult. But we did it, and it made the movie incredibly better. Now, I think I was up to Ryan. Tim, did we get your?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ryan, go ahead. Tell us how you thought Infinity War was.
All right. Well, first off, we might just want to retitle this "Let's Talk" to be Infinity War, because let's be honest, I don't think we're gonna leave Infinity War as the topic.
With me driving, we'll get to other stuff. Don't worry.
We'll try. We'll see how that works.
With all the other Let's Talk, I feel pretty confident we'll get to my topics that I want to talk about.
Alright, well anyway, my first impressions, I thought it was fantastic. They did a great job balancing that many characters, which in under 2.5 hours is no easy feat. I'd say my biggest complaint is I'm right there with MedJed, Josh I think it was, in that I don't think it was enough of a cliffhanger, just given the choices of characters they decided to have Thanos off. Like, I'd say the big ones were Spider-Man, Black Panther, and the entire, nearly the entire Guardians of the Galaxy team.
Definitely.
As soon as you see all those characters go, you're like, oh, well, of course those characters can't stay dead because they've either just been introduced or that's the entire team of a already announced sequel.
Also
so
true.
I kind of wish they had chosen slightly different characters to at least kind of give the impression that those characters might stay dead.
Yeah. That they want to leave the main ones, the original 6, alive because the next movie is going to be their last. They want to focus on them as much as they can.
You also need to realize that all the people that are still left alive are all the people that Tony saw dead in his vision. So it's kind of just like a play off that as well.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was...
Everyone else, all the people who died.
And obviously that's a super meta narrative complaint of oh, well, I clearly see where the next movie is going to go. It's going to be about bringing them all back because they're not going to let Black Panther stay dead when he just made all the money.
Yeah. Fun fact that thank you for bringing that up because he actually has made $698 billion gross, just that movie alone. And
like I said,
$500 billion?
Yeah, $500 billion. Just that movie alone. That's how impactful with it. It's overcome Infinity War, which is just at 631 trillion. It just goes to show you how really fantastic Black Panther was, both as a movie and as just a movement, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Now,
There's
now,
movement, it's a movement.
Sarah, let
Yeah.
us. How about you let us know how what you thought Infinity War was?
Infinity War is like the perfect blend of like all the movies together. Like I heard that the Guardian scenes are written by written by the Guardian director. I'm bad with names.
James Gunn.
Like James Gunn, yeah,
Mhm.
and it's like it's just a big contribute. It's like a big like fun action stuff. I was really surprised how Doctor Strange and Tony Stark interaction. I really love it, and I think that they are perfect together. Also, I know Loki is not dead, but come on, he is dead. There's no doubt about it, but unfortunately, I think, yeah, same thing as Josh just said, the death was not count because it's comic books, and I've been a comic book reader for a while, so I know what happens. I think the movie is good, but unfortunately, it still has some flaws. I think it's.
You're not
I think,
always. No. Okay, sorry.
No, keep going.
I think. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Get your opinion out.
It's unfortunate. I hear reviews that Captain America didn't do much, but I think the next movie he's in the driver's seat and getting
I can see that.
getting everything, because I hear criticisms that Captain America didn't do anything, but I think the next movie he probably do a lot of stuff. But for my closing thoughts, how the hell can Tony Stark get home?
Off Titan? Yeah.
Yeah,
He probably got
he's-
some
he-
communication device
he's-
there somewhere.
Can we curse in this?
Well,
Can I curse?
Yeah, you can curse. The thing is, with Tony Stark being stranded there, I know a lot of people keep forgetting that the Milano is still there.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
Nebula's still there as well.
Yeah, the Milano and Nebula's
Yeah,
there, so she'll be able
I
to
just-
help him get off.
I just want to make a joke there.
Right,
but
right.
That's my closing thought.
Alright.
I don't want. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lewis.
Now, last but not least, Lewis, go ahead and tell us what you thought about Infinity War.
I saw it 3 times in opening weekend.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yeah. It was an amazing movie. I felt that each time that I saw it, and I'm sure anyone else who's seen it multiple times, you start noticing things that you didn't notice prior because you're not so focused on the action anymore. The movie itself was actually really interesting. Loved it. They did work well with all the characters that they had given in the limited time that they had. I felt, though, that it was a little short in that aspect because there was just so many characters. And when you see it the first time, it makes you feel like, oh, they did a really good job with how all these characters are together and everything. But when you see it the second and third time, you're like, they could have gave this guy more time. They could have they could have expanded on this. I did really enjoy it, and I can't wait for the second one, but there was some like hang-ups, and then the double shield from Captain America kind of pissed me off, but that's besides the point.
Right, the fact that like T'Challa was like, someone get this man a shield, and he has that like cool sort of like forearm shield things going on, and like it's all right.
The claws
Didn't
on
have time to make a sword.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. I'm about to say it's the claw shields. It's all about cats in Wakanda tech.
Pretty much, and Sam in the chat is saying there wasn't a shield, it was glorified wrist guards, And that's
that's
yeah.
pretty much what it was. Yeah.
You got
I mean, there are shields that exist of that size and shape. Not
course.
every shield is a giant dinner plate.
Yeah, but like it's Captain America.
Not
Like, get that man a
cool.
shield. Like,
Again, they're
get that
saving for a
man
big
a
moment.
shield.
Yeah, like I was so when I saw it and he said get that man a shield, I got so excited that he was gonna get a shield. Like I didn't care if it had the symbol.
right.
I was so excited that he was just gonna have his shield back. I didn't care about the star or anything like that. But then when I see him, I was like, where the hell is his shield? And he's just walking around with these two bracers on his arm, and I'm like, that's not a shield.
See, I would have even taken them if they like were able to like get like an energy field like off of it, and that was like the shape of the circle, like just something like that.
Oh,
Shield.
Similar to the cape that they have that does the thing with it makes the energy field shield with their capes. They could have done something like that where it's like an energy border.
Exactly.
Here's what my thoughts is that they're saving him getting his actual shield from Tony for a very big moment in the next movie.
Which is understandable, but like there's a difference between like that scene, which I could see happening, and them giving him these shields. Like they could have been better. It's just like more of a story
that looked the same but wasn't the same. It would be kind of like, oh, what's the big deal of him getting the original back if he has the same thing made of the same material because it's vibranium? Because
nah, it's always a big deal. Just that red, white, and blue shield coming from Tony. That's a big deal no matter what you do.
And it has the bullet marks from the first time he got shot with it, which makes absolutely no sense, but they're there.
Hey guys, can I say something based on the comic? I'm going to put this in the chat, in the game night chat. I thought he's going to get the holographic shield. I will put it in the chat, but I thought he's going to get the holographic shield that looked like a shield, but it's holographic, but it has like it's like the Bubba shield in Halo.
What I think it alluded
They
to.
did it on Agents of Shield. Coulson has one.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think the gauntlet alluded to is when Red Skull said that I see in your future and you will not fight with any stars or no nations, you just fight for humanity. That's why I think they didn't give him the Captain America shield. They give him the Wakandan shield because he's not fighting for America, he's fighting for everyone. So I think
I feel like they got that point across with him taking the star off of his suit.
in the Avengers, not the Avengers, the first Avengers, Captain America.
First Captain America. There you go.
Yeah, when he was talking with Red Skull said that I've seen your future and you're not going to fight for nations, and that's why I think they didn't give him the shield, just to have him that line from all those movies ago come back up.
I have no memory of that line, but at the same time, I haven't seen that movie in a few years.
Oh, I actually did an MCU rewatch before going seeing the Avengers, so everything's fresh in my head.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, sweet. I know a lot of people managed to do that cool marathon.
Too expensive.
What, Amari?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I know a lot of people before Infinity War did come out, they did the whole, we're gonna do the giant marathon. Like, I know some movie theaters did a giant marathon of the films themselves.
Even AMC did they did a special marathon too, like the day before Infinity War came out. It was like 31 hours worth of movies back to back.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
I would have loved to go to one of those, but like,
Now,
enough to rewatch paper, but I feel like by the time you get to the end, you're too tired to enjoy the actual new movie.
You could just sleep with Thor.
Yeah, that's what some people say. Like, you could sleep through some of the movies. Now, speaking of,
Yo, don't brag on Thor. I like Thor. Thor's a good.
Only in the Dark World.
Iron Man 3.
Ragnarok is the only one that matters.
Iron Man 2.
How dare you?
Speaking of all the, all right, calm down. Speaking of all the movies, now we're gonna just shift into what our favorite kind of, not our favorite movie, we're just going to talk about our favorite overall moment, because if we talked about our favorite movie, I know some of us are probably going to just go off about how this movie is my favorite movie, here's why, this is it, this is this. I just want to know, what, in the whole entirety of the MCU universe, what was your favorite moment out of all the movies that have been, that you've seen? Think about, because I'm an evil bastard. Now, think about...
Are we going down in order, or or we like free ball this?
No,
I will pre-roll it because I'm gonna be sitting here for 10 hours.
I'm gonna go.
Have my answer immediately.
I'm gonna be going in order of how it is in the Discord chat, so you have time depending on where your position is in the little Discord. But
I'm an S.
so you guys will have time to think about like your favorite moment in the MCU universe. But you got to think about, just think about your moment, kind of picture it in your head, so this way you could be ready for when it comes up. Now, Danny, if you want to go ahead and start us off.
Quickly,
so much pressure. Listen, my all-time favorite moment, to begin with, was the whole. I still love the whole Captain with Steve and Bucky, like I'm with you to the end of the line thing. Like I can do this, I can do this all day, whatever it is. But Infinity War has usurped that favorite moment for me, and my favorite moment is absolutely towards the end of Infinity War, with Spider-Man and Iron Man and that whole "I'm not feeling so good" moment, and that kills me.
I don't know what's happening.
And I love it so much. And Tom Holland is incredible in it, and that has taken over as my favorite moment.
Yeah, that's right. He did.
Yep.
He physically disintegrated in real life.
But yeah, no, my now all-time favorite moment is absolutely the "I'm not feeling so good, Mr. Stark." Like I'm afraid. I don't know what's happening, and just that entire scene with them too.
Yeah, absolutely great scene. Fantastic scene. Go ahead, and Evan, do you want to tell us what your favorite MCU moment was?
Okay, now I have to say it's not in Infinity War, but I have to give it to the Spider-Man reveal in Civil War. The first time you see him show up in the airport, it's the first time we've seen Spider-Man in a movie with other Marvel characters, and I think that was the biggest pop I've seen of Civil War in the entire movie. Seeing him like hop onto the cart, that was probably the best scene. Just seeing Spider-Man with the other people was great. Tom Holland's a good Spider-Man, and it was a good way to reveal his Spider-Man and everything. I really
like when I saw the a trailer for Civil War, like I freaked out when I saw him like take the shield and then do the flip and right onto the car. Like I was like, oh my god.
Can I say
everyone?
Pretty much, yeah.
Can I say something that, as a comic book fan, seeing that it just makes me hopeful that some deals between like Fox and Sony can happen, and it just makes me so glad that Sony is not like, oh, we can make Spider-Man movies, and then they say, no, let's work with Marvel for a chance.
Yeah, let's work with this $11 trillion industry and see what we can do.
It'll just buy us to make us do it.
Deadpool for the next Avengers movie.
Oh, jeez!
That would be crazy.
So, Renee, if you want to let us know what your favorite MCU moment was.
I feel like a lot of them into the Galaxy 2.
Same.
I feel like the end credit scene, like setting up for Adam, was like, whoo.
Yes.
Or
we were talking about.
Yeah, we talked about Adam.
It's when at the end of Guardians 2, when the perfect lady is kind of just like chilling there, and the other one's like, hey, the council wants to speak it to you because they're pissed that you wasted all these resources, and she's like, they won't be pissed when they see my latest creation, and it shows a pod of what we're gonna assume is going to be Adam Warlock, because she says like, I'm gonna call him Adam, and it's just like, oh yes, please give me Adam, that handsome man.
Every comic book nerd just themselves.
I don't know. It's gonna be hard with Infinity War.
And also in Guardians 2, Yondu's funeral.
That's a really good moment. Really good moment.
It was just so great.
He was never your daddy.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. You're like Mary Poppins. Is he cool? Hell yeah, he's cool.
Now,
I
Jesse,
would have expected one of the most heartfelt movies in the MCU to be the one with the talking raccoon, because I didn't expect that.
No. And a talking tree.
That too.
A baby
that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Prepubescent tree.
When you get the chance, take a look at the thing I sent you in Discord, Katie.
Oh.
Now in
That's because I wasn't.
in continuing with our thing, Jesse, go ahead and tell us what your favorite moment was.
Who's this?
Oh damn! I think my favorite part would have to be. Oh shit! There's too many. Get back to me because I'm still trying to think.
You got it. You got it. All right, Joel, go ahead and tell us what your favorite moment overall was in the MCU.
Joel, you there?
Joe?
Give him a second.
He's muted. Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was muted. Because I'm right next to Danny, so I don't want you guys to hear her while she's talking like 3 times. My favorite moment, I would say my favorite scene is the end of Civil War, the entire fight scene. My favorite moment is when Cap drives his shield into Tony's reactor, and Tony thought that he was going to kill him, because at that point, I think Tony realized that he was trying to kill Bucky, and he thought Cap defending him, Cap would try to kill him. And I think that was more so not fear in the sense of like, oh, he's gonna kill me, but the moment he didn't, it was fear that Tony like looked at himself and was like, wow, I did something wrong. There's something here that I'm not getting. That's like I messed up just as much as Steve did when not telling me about Bucky. And that's probably my favorite scene, to see their culmination of 5 movies they've been in together for the most part, and on top of Civil War being the dividing factor between them. I feel that moment it holds a lot of weight on me. So yeah, that'd be my favorite moment.
It's definitely a crazy moment as to show the development of these characters, and especially Tony's character, to just, after seeing the man who killed his parents, then to just kind of realize the monster he was becoming right in that moment, that split second. It was kind of nuts. Now, Kate, go ahead and tell us what your favorite moment was in the MCU.
Oh God, I have so many. I've seen Okay, so real talk, I've seen everything except Homecoming. So, God, there's so many. Honestly, this may be not a popular one, but I think one of my favorites, or the one that I've at least enjoyed the most, is from Age of Ultron, where they're all sitting around the table and they're like, because Thor put down the hammer, and it's like there's not a lot of scenes in the movie where they're genuine, in any of the movies where they're genuinely acting like a team of allies who live and work together in the same building, because obviously we're going through significant points. There's not enough time for, dare I say, slice of life. But that moment of them just chilling out, hanging out, trying to pick up the hammer, joking around like friends, couple beers. That's such a nice moment. Like, there's so many lines and good scenes from the movies. Like, one of my favorites is the whole "bury me in the sea" where my ancestors did from Black Panther.
Yes. Oh my God.
Fucking Ant-Man was always great. No one remembers Ant-Man though.
I do.
Yeah, listen.
I want to see
Ant-Man was great.
I do.
Same, but
I'm worried about him.
And I've seen and Guardians of the Galaxy in its entirety was so good. But really,
the scene of Ultron
Ragnarok,
when they're being just comrades, though, that's probably your favorite moment there.
Yeah. I'm one of those people, because I'm a person who's very dedicated to fandom. That slice of life shit, that's my jam right there. I need it. I love it so much. And then just hanging out, being bros.
It's a good moment.
One of the great scenes from an movie.
Now, Mario, if you want to let us know what your favorite MCU moment was.
It goes into my favorite movie, Winter Soldier, and it's the speech at the end where Captain America is speaking to everyone about the infiltration of Hydra into S.H.I.E.L.D. and how he's willing to do the right thing to say and like destroy basically S.H.I.E.L.D., which we've seen that the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D.'s a huge part of the MCU, the Marvel universe, and how he's willing to dismantle it and hope that people will fight with him against Hydra, and also what that meant for the entire universe of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that speech that he gives at the end, or the beginning when the whole thing, when everything goes down. It was just, to me, that's when I fell in love with the MCU, Captain America and his fighting for what's right, regardless how tough it will be, and that's probably my favorite scene.
Yeah, it's a very good scene. Also, like, one of my favorite parts about Winter Soldier is the shot of Cap in the elevator, and he's just like, you know, last chance for anybody to get off. This is your last chance. Really good scene right there. Josh, go ahead and tell us what your favorite moment was.
So, you know, I'm a huge fan of like philosophy, and obviously the MCU has plenty of moments where like a certain character says a thing. It's like very inspirational. So that's probably why my favorite moment is when Star-Lord just kind of dances to "Come and Get Your Love."
Ah, damn it!
That was one of mine.
Yeah, just the overall, the straight up beginning of Guardians. Very good choice.
Because it just
Any part where Drax
sets up the movie so
like,
well.
Any part where Drax just says anything to question like a metaphor is also good too.
Why would I put my finger across his throat?
Oh
Wait, what? What a mess.
Over my head, I will catch it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
And it goes to show how good Drax or Dave Bautista is just really well attached to his character. He does a fantastic job with it. Now,
can we just have a round of applause for all the casting in the MCU because it's all on point?
Yeah, good. It's a good choice. Good choices for everybody. Now, Ross, go ahead and tell us what your favorite moment was.
The problem is how short is the moment, because pretty much the entire final battle, but I guess if we have to narrow it down more, it's Hulk when Banner does the "I'm always angry" in terms of the Hulk, and then they have that group shot. Because, like, I saw
I'm always angry.
The opening night and, like, an intense theater experience, and it was like, so everyone was, like, cheering like crazy, and it was just like, this is the moment where this insane idea is actually real. Where, like, you make a bunch of movies, and then it's not just a single sequel, but you put them all together into one thing, and it builds on each other. That was the moment where, like, in that shot, even though it was so simple, just spinning around and I'm all posing, was just like the moment that everything was like, this is amazing, and that's why that's my favorite movie. So, and the favorite scene of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's also really one of my favorite moments, because it's just that shot of them all kind of just straight up being together and doing the hero poses of all of them, and then it being done again in Age of Ultron is just, it's so awesome to see that kind of moment again.
That's my favorite shot from Ultron, the whole lineup where they're all jumping. That's such a good shot.
It's a really good scene. It's a really good scene. Now, moving forward, Patrick, if you want to tell us what your favorite moment in the MCU was.
I'm bringing it all the way back to the start. Iron Man post-credit scene. Nick Fury coming out of the darkness in Tony Stark's house saying, "I'm Nick Fury, and I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative."
Woo! I didn't see that because I didn't know post-credit scenes back then. I never saw that in theaters. I'm so mad.
That wasn't a thing back then.
That was the one when I was just like, "Oh shit, there's going to be a lot more of these."
When everybody realized, oh man, there's something going on here, and that was literally the start of the MCU.
So I didn't see it in theater.
Yeah.
Like, that scene literally is the reason why we have post-credit scenes now. Like, like
there were people leaving when I saw Infinity War on Monday, and what are you doing?
Yeah, the fact that people still leave during Marvel credits boggles my mind.
Ludicrous.
Wait, where is he?
So that's a really good moment though, Patrick. Tim, if you want to tell us what your favorite moment was.
Oh my god. I'll say one of my favorite moments because I think Mario may have actually taken mine, or Joel did, I think, with like the Guardians of the Galaxy intro. I think the scene from Homecoming where, like, I think it's like right after Vulture brings down like his headquarters, I guess, and you know, like trapped underneath all the rubble. He's trying to get up. He's trying to get it up, and then like he has to like sort of like find the strength within him to actually lift it up. You know, like
yeah, a scene straight out of. I know that one is a scene straight out of the comics. Is the scene where he's buried under all the rubble, and he has to lift himself out of that. It's kind of a ridiculous shot, and it just goes to show the versatility of Tom Holland as an actor. Because they draw that scene out, and you really do believe the amount of pain that he's in when he's trapped under that. And then like you have to think, oh yeah, he's a kid, so like you see that moment of like kid panic in his eyes too.
He's my little sister's age.
Yeah.
It's so. I haven't even seen it. I'm like, this kid's gonna die.
Yeah.
He's dead. And he's like my age.
Yep, and he absolutely, yep, and he did. He faded away. But moving on, Ryan, go ahead and tell us what your favorite moment was.
Too soon.
Okay.
Someone has a case
This
of
conversation.
All right. Well, unlike all of you who apparently had to deliberate over this, my answer with zero hesitation, 100% certainty, the first Mark III suit up in Iron Man 1 is my favorite MCU moment.
Damn it, Ryan!
I need to rewatch that movie. Okay.
That was pretty sexy. That was pretty sexy. I will admit.
What's the Mark III again? I can't remember which one that is.
The first red and gold.
Red and gold one.
the very
Oh,
first
okay,
main
yeah.
suit. It's the one on the cover there, and then he switched it out after the second one, or after the first one.
He switches it to the Mark IV, which is visually quite similar to the Mark III.
Yeah.
No animation. Suitcase one. Mark V was.
And then he had the silver.
No, 5 was the suitcase.
Kind of man.
Okay, I think we get it.
It was still a really cool moment. Sarah,
Yeah.
do you have a favorite moment in the MCU?
Yeah, Ryan took mine, like the one can I say 2? Because it's really short. One is like when Tony Stark found his this is why after he got captured and got system free. When he found like his weapons are still killing innocent bystanders, he just go up and act so like mad and driven, and when the suit comes out and the faceplate goes on top, like above his head, he just suits up and just goes out and just flies, like shoots some justice. That's the most powerful moment, because that's when that's when his character all changed. And also in Doctor Strange, Dormammu, I came for the bargain.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain.
That's my 2 favorite moments, because Doctor Strange and Iron Man is like my 2 favorite characters. They are like perfect.
They're very good moments.
Facial hair bros.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they have the same backstory, so.
Hey! They are different.
I am kidding.
They're all the same.
They're in, at least in the movie, they were super similar. That was one of my favorite parts, because it's like these two
No.
full of themselves assholes butting heads.
Excuse you.
I mean, they were.
And they
No.
All right, let's relax a little bit. Let's relax. Take a step back. Take a deep breath. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna carry on because Rex has joined us for the Let's Talk. Hello, Rex. How are you?
Oh Jesus, so many people.
Hello.
It was to be expected if we're going to talk about something this big that a lot of people are going to come out. And I do want to emphasize and appreciate everyone that did come out and everyone that's watching. I do appreciate you guys coming out. I was just so overall so happy when everyone was super with the idea of our podcast, of the Let's Talk, and the fact that it's just this type of open format where everyone gets a chance to voice their opinion, because we know we all got them and we want people to hear them.
It's all our team wide members.
Yeah, and it's something that our community can get together and do. And I know we have our game nights every week, but not everyone has the games that we play or really just wants to play the games that we play. But this is a chance for everyone to do something with the community and with people that they never get to talk to.
Now
So,
word from our sponsors.
Okay.
Rex, go ahead and tell us what your favorite moment in the MCU was, if you got one.
One second.
Oh my God.
No, I'm sorry, not you guys.
I don't know what you were saying,
Amari,
Mario.
thank
But
you for being the speaking ball.
no problem. Rex, do you have a favorite moment in the MCU, or do you need to like a second to like think about it?
No, I know what it is.
Okay, go ahead.
Hulk ragdolling Loki.
Wait, what?
Hulk ragdolling Loki in the first movie. That's a good one.
And then the puny god.
And then that squeaky noise Loki makes.
And then like you just hear like
Loki
the
is
sound.
so terrified of Hulk.
And then he's just lying on his back and thinking about all the things he did, all the mistakes he made in life to get to this point.
Yep, and that did also, I remember when that happened, it's just like the whole we have a Hulk scene between Tony Stark and Loki. I remember immediately the gif of just like, we have a Hulk. Well, I've got a jar of dirt. Well, I've got a box. I've got this. Like, da-da-da-da.
Yes!
Lewis, go ahead and tell us what your favorite moment in the MCU was.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I like zoned out.
It's okay.
Mood.
Kind of accurate. I had a couple different moments for me. I guess my holy shit moment was finally realizing that the Vulture was Peter's like love interest.
Oh, hold on. There's too many people. There's too many people talking. That's too many people. Lewis, go ahead and continue. It's the moment when Vulture reveals that he is the dad of the... Yes.
Like, when Peter knocks on the door and the Vulture opens up the door and he just like... It was literally like my holy shit moment, because that was like the one instance where I couldn't see that coming.
Yeah. Nobody saw that coming, I guarantee you that.
Me and Connor were sitting right next to each other and we're just like... I wasn't expecting that. Like it was insane.
It's a damn cool moment.
The only other those two other moments that kind of popped up to mind. One was like a kind of like a bonus moment that didn't go anywhere, but I really liked in Thor Ragnarok how he was able to finally utilize his powers without using the hammer.
Yeah.
That I was really excited about.
He becomes pretty much a Sith Lord. Yeah. It's really cool.
But, like, for me, the bonus moment that never went anywhere, which I was kind of sad about, was I believe it was during not Infinity War, during the first Avengers movie, where Thor and Captain America kind of get into an argument in the middle of the forest.
Oh.
And Thor comes down with his hammer and slams it right on top of Steve Rogers, and he blocks it with the shield, and then everyone gets blasted outwardly except for Thor and Steve Rogers. I was like, that is going to be a very awesome combo move, and I can't wait for them to do it. They never did it again.
No, they did.
Ultron at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you, I didn't see that movie.
Ooh.
No one blames me.
It's a good one. It's a good one. And if you ever play the Lego Marvel game, which is actually what I'm playing right now, that's a common move that you get to do if you have Thor and Captain America fighting side by side.
I wanted to see like all the movies and stuff. I just didn't have the time before. I haven't really seen any of the Iron Man movies, and I haven't seen Age of Ultron or Civil War.
Let me save you some time here. Watch Iron Man 1. You don't really need to watch 2 or 3. Gonna save you some time.
3 based on Avengers 4.
Yeah, you should watch 3.
Now, I know there was someone that I could have that said that we wanted to get back to.
That would be me.
Oh, it's okay, Jesse. Did you think of something?
Yeah, anytime Michael Pena has to go back to his flashback stories.
Yes! Thank you so much. Oh my god.
Wait, what
It's the character in Ant-Man, Ant-Man's best friend, who when he tells a story, he voices over every character in the story, and it's phenomenal.
And they would do the same. They would also do the same mouthing and the same enthusiasm,
the same mannerisms. It's great.
Yo, can we get him? I want him to be the next superhero.
He's gonna be in Ant-Man and Wasp, so we'll see that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Now, I'm glad that we've been able to share all our favorite moments of the MCU and everything. Just before we transition to my next topic. My absolute favorite moment of the MCU, and this is going to be actually kind of a segue into the impact of the history of how this MCU has treated society as a whole. In the first Avengers, it's the first Avengers, I think?
Yes.
Yes, it's the first Avengers. Well, you don't know what moment I'm talking about. Hold on. It's in the first Avengers when they're talking around. I think it's. I'm sorry. I'm very. I'm very. It's the second Avengers, Age of Ultron. We've gone through so many movies to get to this moment, and in Age of Ultron, there's the part when Vision picks up the hammer, And
Oh, yeah.
no matter who you're with, no matter who you're with, from the beginning of that movie, it's been referenced that only the worthy can pick up the hammer. So even those that don't get comics, that don't understand the hero's lore or anything like that, will understand the severity and the impact of Vision picking up that hammer. And when he does, you can hear audible gasps in the audience of him picking up that hammer. It's something that I realized that this is the type of movie. Hold on, let me finish. This is the type of movie that brings so many people together to see something that typically is sort of mocked at the theater. Just like if you remember the original Tim Burton Batmans, they're all just wacky kind of cult classics and everything, and superhero movies are just meh. With this, it's become a very pivotal moment in our society that now it's just something that we all can talk about and we all can just gossip about around the cooler. Now with that, as
$1 billion franchise,
trillion dollar franchise.
$1 billion franchise.
I was just gonna say with you talking about like how he picked up the hammer, it just brought me back to a video that I remember, like Thor messing with Spider-Man, how he would like put the hammer on top of like the toilet seat or something like that.
That's right.
But,
Is the elevator worthy?
It was
elevator.
I do know the worthiness aspect, but I thought they changed it in the MCU where it was as long as someone had the blessing of his father, they'd be able to pick it up. Which it kind of threw me for a loop in that moment. Odin put a spell on the hammer and made it so that way he could pick it up. I thought that's what they changed.
It still said like who is worthy can.
Because during the second Thor movie, he took away his ability to do it. Like he had to actively take that ability away from him, not like it just did it on its own.
It was a crazy moment though overall when just the hammer gets picked up by Vision. Is what I'm just trying to get at.
It was definitely a crazy moment.
Now transitioning into my next topic of just the impact that the MCU has kind of made into cinema, and now if you think about how the films have overall just been coming out one after another, bombshell after like just bombarding the box office with crazy numbers. Hold on, Lewis, your mic is kind of acting up a little bit. But now if you think about it, DC then comes in and they try to do their same thing. They do, the Superman, and they do Suicide Squad. Okay, relax. Hold on. Shut up. Hold on. Now, if you think about it, it's a noble attempt because, the only sincerest form of flattery is just mimicry. And to try and... We all mock the DCU because it has been a failed attempt, but it would be... How awesome would it have been if the DC would have been able to been successful with their own DCU? Like if Suicide Squad was actually, phenomenal, if Justice League was great, if all these other that's why when during the last story, the last Let's Talk when I was playing Injustice during the story episode, the thing that I would love to happen is if the writers of Injustice did the DCU because they do it right. With the MCU,
the DCAU people.
Yeah, as with the MCU, we have to think about all the pieces that are behind the movie, all the pieces that are going together to kind of make all this happen. And it all started with just Iron Man 1 and that post-credit scene of Nick Fury coming out being like, "Hey, you want to talk about this idea that I got?" And then here we are 10 years later with the same quote and same line from the first Avengers. It started with an idea. So I just want to
make lots and lots of money.
So much money. Now, besides the fact that they made so much money, we also have to think about how crazy it's been as far as to bring people together to talk about all these damn movies. How often do you get to go to the theaters and see people that you may never really think of to go into an MCU movie? Or when you go to work the next day and you're talking about the MCU, and next thing you know, your boss is right next to you and say "Oh yeah, that movie was fantastic," and now you have something in common with your boss. It's just something that I just can't really picture another thing doing, other than the revolutionary Pokemon Go fiasco or something like that. Just bringing people together to just go nuts with. Now, going forward, the MCU is only just going to get bigger and bigger. Obviously, something so good could fail, and there are moments in the MCU that people are like, oh, let's not talk about that. Like Age of Ultron, some people really like it, some people don't. There are good moments in that film, and then there's like the Iron Man 2 and 3 where it's just like, oh, well, we don't really need to talk about that. Where do you think the MCU could possibly go wrong, if ever, going forward in this universe?
Can I start with that?
Go ahead, Mario, go ahead.
Because they already did have a failure. Inhuman, they canceled it. It's
true. That's true.
Two seasons,
Became a TV show that apparently
and it bombed completely. Like it's kind of because people were really excited for it because of the the humans were touched upon in Shield, and then the characters are beloved in the comics, but it failed. And it's Kevin
And don't forget, Inhumans was originally going to be a movie.
and they changed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was going to be a movie.
It was originally going to be the end of Phase 3.
It's not available, don't they?
Huh?
No, I think they can't. It was supposed to be a show, a movie, but they become a show. But that happened all because Kevin Feige took over the MCU movies, and then someone else took over the shows. So even though they are in the same universe, the shows are not exactly tied in as much as they could be with the movies. I think Inhumans was a big failure that no one really remembers because they just if 9 out of 10 are hits. Do you really even remember the failures? Like,
yeah.
I didn't even know they haven't had movie failures. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well,
like there could be TV shows.
argue that.
The TV shows, they're in their own type of universe, and yes, they take place in this giant thing, but really the movies focus on themselves. So like if let's say they were to come out with a Spider-Man Homecoming 2 or Black Panther 2, and suddenly it is just completely different. It is so bad. Like every character that they ever had is just like completely different, or it's directed differently. It's something like that. Like what type of direction could happen to really throw the MCU off? Because right now it does seem like the MCU is kind of unstoppable.
So like Thor Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok but ending in a bad way. Like they take a twist, a tone shift, but it's in a bad way.
I mean,
Is that what you're saying?
Almost.
Here's the thing that I'm having.
Talking Raccoon, you really need to watch anything, honestly.
The thing that I'm having like an issue with is that like Marvel actually learns from their mistakes.
True.
How in Thor, the second Thor movie, how a couple critics and a bunch of people didn't rate it as highly. It wasn't like the greatest Thor movie. They took that to heart and they sat down with Thor and just they revamped it to make people because they're learning from their mistakes, and that's something that the DCU hasn't done. They haven't really learned from their mistakes. They tried and it just didn't work out. They're not really listening to anyone's feedback on it, and it was kind of similar to like the EA issue where they weren't listening to nobody for a very long time.
I absolutely agree with that.
And Sam,
I
Sam was saying in the chat that Marvel could go wrong with Captain Marvel if it just needs to be as good, if not better, than Wonder Woman to be successful, because the MCU doesn't have a lead female character movie, and it's been so long since that.
Okay. Not to get. Oh.
Go ahead, Kate. Go ahead.
Thank you. This is just not to get a little discord, not to get any discourse or diversity or anything, but the reason why Wonder Woman succeeded, I feel like the reason why Wonder Woman succeeded and why Black Panther succeeded, because those are two axes of diversity. They had a woman write Wonder Woman, and because I've seen the stuff for Joss Whedon trying to write Wonder Woman, it's bad. They need to have a woman writing Captain Marvel, like in general, because they have Ryan Coolidge write Black Panther, and everyone saw how amazing that was. Like, get someone to write what they know, I mean. Which, I'm rambling, but like, that's important.
No, but I mean, I agree with you with the whole Joss Whedon thing, because like, he notoriously just does not write good female things. I mean, look at Age of Ultron, and the whole, like, I'm a monster because I can't have a baby Natasha thing. Like, that was a ridiculous, terrible situation and scene, and that was him trying to make a relatable thing, and it just failed miserably.
Yeah, like my aunt can't have kids, and she's the sweetest woman I know. But we're getting to discourse. Go, continue. Sorry.
Just one thing about Captain Marvel, I was just looking up. Directed by a man and a woman, and there's a bunch of writers, but several of them are women. If that helps.
Okay.
I think my biggest fear.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to address about Captain Marvel. Is she gonna be the Deus Ex Machina of Infinity War 2?
I hope not.
Is she gonna be? Because they wouldn't hype her this much in a post-credit scene for the next movie.
See, that's my fear. Is that
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that it's like completely hyped up. Like, yeah, it's a hype moment where you see the symbol, but I mean, the same thing could have been said for like the Avengers, and like, are the Avengers a Deus Ex Machina for like the next movie when they posted it out on
Yeah, but when you look at Infinity War and the way Infinity War ended, and then that post-credit scene basically labels Captain Marvel as like a savior of it, or the person that even Fury's like, okay, this is who we need to fix this. It's a lot of pressure. And
I would say if they make Captain Marvel into what Superman is in the DCU,
They did in the House of M, storyline. Captain Marvel. What?
She needs to have some sort of limiting factor. She can't be all powerful like as compared to Superman, who is just basically an unstoppable machine.
From what I've seen,
Be that bad, but I think
they're saying that her energy absorption gives her some advantage against Thanos, but I don't think she could match up against what the Infinity Gauntlet has, unless of course she somehow becomes Phoenix, which doesn't seem possible.
No, she's also made from the Kree, and the Kree bring people back to life.
Now we also have to kind of remember, we have to just remember that also these are straight up movies that are meant to try and make more money when they do come out. So like something like Captain Marvel coming out as a Deus Ex Machina thing, it could totally happen. That's giving a lot of credit to just how powerful, she is and everything. But we also have to think about that they're going to want to make, absolutely, of course, more of these. So Captain Marvel could absolutely show up, but they also have to just establish how important she is, because this is a character more than likely no one's ever heard of. And it's the same thing with the Guardians. When that movie was first announced, nobody knew what the Guardians were. They saw a raccoon, a tree, some guy, and a green lady, and they saw Chris Pratt as a lead. Like, hold on, what's going on?
Dressed as Kratos with knives.
They need to show that these guys are very important in the MCU, just like how they did with the first Guardians. So hence why, like, Captain Marvel might be, the go-to hero savior of this predicament that the Infinity War is in. But hold on, but the overall point of just leaving that last credit scene to her is to establish that this person is important.
I think if they wanted her to be a Deus Ex Machina, they would have killed everyone in Infinity War.
An important role, but I don't think she's gonna like solve everything.
But outside of that, I think her movie is gonna drive the next step for Marvel. Who comes after? Which
like
is gonna be Secret Wars.
The Skrulls are like the major villain for Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she works with the Kree to fight the Skrulls, who are just shapeshifters and take over society from the shadows. So that could be the next big thing. Nobody knows, but that's what it's probably alluding to, and that would be interesting.
Well, so far as we know, for the future, the future of Marvel, after Avengers: Infinity War Part 2, the MCU is going to be vastly different.
Yeah, definitely.
The whole thing, Phase 4 is going to be a whole thing. Everything's going to be.
All the contracts are expiring.
That's one thing, is that the contracts are expiring, but we also have to think about just directors are going to be moving on, and as well as storylines are going to just overall finish. There's only going to be so much Iron Man and Thor that people can take in cinemas before they want to see something different, because if there's a Thor 5, 7, and 6, whatever, people are going to know, okay, this character's not going to die for another like 6 movies. Hence why we go back to like the whole people dying in Infinity War. For Marvel to start getting taken seriously, characters do need to stay dead.
My only concern for Marvel, or Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, is the fact that it's a prequel, I guess, in terms like it's set in the 90s. I'm curious how they're gonna explain all of that. Like, where was she this entire time? Are they gonna rewrite stuff? Are they gonna because Coulson's gonna be it from the first Avengers. I'm just curious, I'm just worried they're not gonna they're gonna mess up something time wise. Like I know Homecoming had
Homecoming had that whole the 12 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Timeline.
So I just hope they don't do anything like that here.
When was that?
So the beginning of Spider-Man: Homecoming, it said that it was set in a certain amount of time after the Avengers or whatever,
the first Avengers.
Yeah, after the first Avengers, and they messed that up in the movie. They've since they retconned it in real life, not in the movie, but saying that no, they messed up the timeline. It's really set 8 years after the war, 12 years or whatever it was. They fixed it, but they had a lot of people freaking out about the timeline in it, which is really hard for people to figure out where exactly what movie took place because of that Spider-Man thing.
Same thing happened with Guardians 2, where they set it 2 months after the first one, but then they put the time of how many years ago is the thing with Ego and Peter's mother was set to modern times or something like that, so they took years lost.
With that being said, them keeping up with 10 years of movies and trying to create a timeline between all of them is something that it's difficult as hell. They've done a pretty damn good job with it.
Overall, they've done pretty good.
It's pretty.
All the Easter eggs and everything, and everything else. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like explaining the Zelda-verse in terms of timeline. It branches off. It goes back in the past, sometime in the future. But yeah, they've done a good job so far.
To go off your concerns though, Mario, personally, my whole thinking of it is that it's scary to go back with the prequel in terms of making sure everything in the future's set and they go off of that. But I really think that it's going to open up a whole entire another section for them to do. From there, you can absolutely get the Black Widow movie that people want so desperately. You understand now, Natasha, she has that entire established history over the past 10 years, Iron Man's and the Captain America movies and the Avengers movies. But you can't really give her her own standalone movie in the current day because it's okay, everything that she's doing is in regards to these movies. But if you set her up for a prequel and you go back, that would be the perfect setup for it.
Days pre-Shield.
I agree. The only thing is that it sort of takes away. I don't want to say it takes away from it, but she's not gonna die in the prequels if it is a prequel, and that I would prefer some sort of stakes in it.
We all know she won't die, but
then that's my only problem with most prequels, that you know who's gonna die and who's not gonna die, or
Yeah, but you get all those untold stories.
Yeah, because you don't get to see the motivations behind those characters, and you get to see who did die to make those people who they were. And for Captain Marvel, there is certain people that do die to make them who they are. So that's something that people can look forward to. Kind of moving forward as far as just our overall discussion of the MCU.
If I could chime in on the idea of a Black Widow prequel real quick.
Go ahead.
An idea I've had since Avengers 1 is that the best bet for a Black Widow prequel would be Black Widow and Hawkeye buddy shield movie.
Buddy cop movie?
Buddy cop, yeah.
Buddy cop movie of their
It
shield
could be a
days.
buddy cop movie.
What happened in
Loose
Budapest?
cannon, Hawkeye.
There you go. Make a
Hold on.
movie about what happened in Budapest.
Yeah, make a movie about Ronin or whatever.
Black
Ronan's
Widow
gonna be in.
Ronan's gonna be Ronan's gonna be in the next movie, the next Avengers movie.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
Infinity War 2, he's under a new alias.
That's pretty much Hawkeye's next arc, the whole Ronin arc.
Oh gosh, I thought you meant Ronan the Accuser and was.
Wait. There's another Ronin besides Ronin the Accuser?
Yeah.
Yes, Ronin the Hawkeye.
Yeah, like Ronin the Samurai movie with Keanu Reeves.
Ronin with an eye. Not an
like a Ronin samurai.
Yeah, they're like mercenaries essentially.
No.
And that's what he is.
Can I say about Ronin in the comics? Is a complicated character. You don't want to know.
Which one? Yeah, but in the comic, you can't really base the comics off the MCU because in the comics, A lot of the people that we know aren't the same as what they are in the movies.
Yeah, the MCU does take a lot of liberties with the with how they portray things, and like Ryan said, the Mandarin is a perfect example. In one of the like deleted scenes, or not really deleted scenes, it's one of the additional scenes of like the Iron Man 3 like Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah, it was a one shot.
There's like a little mini movie of Mandarin being interviewed by some guy, and then eventually like the prison gets under siege, and the interviewer kills like everyone in the room except the guy that played Mandarin, and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And the guy's like, "Well, the Mandarin's here to reclaim his name." And it just kind of cuts out right there. So it's like they could absolutely revisit that for next Iron Man or whatever.
Because they got a lot of flack for not doing like the real Mandarin.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The Mandarin was a ridiculous villain to begin with.
Me and Connor have actually talked about the Mandarin at the end of the Iron Man movie, and it's just like the Mandarin was also a type of person who's never actually went out and did anything. He's always used someone else as a scapegoat and someone else to do his bidding for him. He's never like been in the front lines. So them portraying him in the movie where it wasn't like the real Mandarin, it kind of played to what he actually is.
Yeah, give me a second. Can I say something about what Danielle said? I'm kind of offended by that because the MCU wasn't made because of other thoughts. It made out comics, and the comics is based on the MCU.
No, I completely agree with you, but what my point is that while it's based on the comic books, not every single comic book character in the MCU is 100% true to their comic book equivalent.
Thanos isn't in love with death.
Like Hawkeye is completely different, Bucky is different, Tony Stark has different variations of him. Like, well, I agree with you, like, the comic books are important. Based on the current day MCU characters that we have, they're just not all based off of what their comic book characters are.
Yeah, and something like, something that you could even take is, like, in the Infinity War saga, Silver Surfer is the one that crash lands into Doctor Strange's apartment, and it's the Hulk instead this time. It's a really clever nod to the comics, but as we mentioned before, the comics, the MCU has taken a lot of liberties when it comes to setting up all these characters in these movies.
I think
it's based. They kind of had to.
Yeah, because of trademark.
And it's also a thing of necessity because they don't all follow the characters in movies currently.
Something like that, yeah. Now, I do want to get into my one sort of final-ish topic, because we briefly touched about how, like, it's, you know, impacted society and everything like that, but I want to know how the MCU's kind of impacted you, as far as just, like, something, does it, like, kind of inspire you? Does it motivate you to become better than who you are? Does it just, like, give you that feel-good when you, after you see that kick-ass superhero movie, that after you walk out, you're like, you know, I bet I could be Iron Man, or something like that. So
you're also apparently.
So, like, I'm gonna start with Danny. Like, how has the MCU impacted you?
I mean, I first saw the movies like way back when it was not cool for me to see the movies, and everyone kind of looked at me like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, you're a girl, don't go watch this." So, like, I kind of like whipping out like my MCU knowledge these days, especially like I was just talking to some dude at work, and like he brought up something, and I interjected myself in the conversation, and he kind of like looked at me like, "How the hell do you know this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like let's go, let's talk about this." So I think that's my favorite part about just, I don't know, just impacting on my personal life.
It's very, very cool. Evan, go ahead and let us know how the MCU's impacted you.
Honestly, I would say it impacts me in a way that I didn't expect it to. Like, a lot of these characters, even though it's a fictional universe, it actually makes characters that live almost essentially real lives. Like, when Tony Stark is having his anxiety attack in Iron Man 3, or when he has all these nightmares of people dying because he's afraid of losing them, even though he has this powerful suit of armor, you feel that he's essentially human, and so you see weakness. You see Peter having to deal with his double life of trying to be a hero, trying to be a kid, and then doesn't necessarily know what the right thing to do is, but he still does it anyway. so he's still learning. Honestly, it helps us create like real situations for the people that are fiction. Like we can almost see them as role models, essentially, and honestly, that's not a bad thing, and I like that.
Yeah, and Lord knows we need some good role models in today's society. Renee, go ahead and let us know how the MCU's impacted you.
I mean, I kind of, I do agree, like, pretty much like what Evan was talking about, like, the way how it's brought up, like, with Iron Man and, like, all his anxiety, like, the way that it was shown, like, it wasn't, like, this whole, like, despairing thing. It was shown very realistically, and yeah, I did appreciate that, you know, like, knowing people that have it, that, you know, that kind of like have like similar reactions to it. So I was like, oh man, you know, but it's just like the amount of creativity around it has been like super inspiring. Like especially when you look at like Doctor Strange. You know, like visually, I love that movie to death. Like it was just so good, and you know, like with Spider-Man Homecoming. I think I've talked about it like a few times, but design work that you know, just like the design of the MCU, you know, like Vulture's like whole like design with the wings, like I cannot contain how much I love how that looked, like when you compare it to the one that Sony did. And it's just like all of the creative and design work that goes into these movies. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's
like,
the
the
creativity that goes into it does like lend to inspire a lot of people to get to kind of that level.
So,
Jamie, if you want to let us know how the MCU's impacted you.
I was actually going to say I have to go in a minute, so if I can just cut the line real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead,
Lewis.
For me, I just think that it spoiled the shit out of me.
I couldn't agree
for the last
more.
10 years, there is so many great movies that have been coming out on a yearly basis. And I'm old, so I just remember the days when like you would maybe get one good movie every 3 years.
Oh no.
And then you have to wait 5 years for it to come out on VHS.
Oh god.
But
Yeah, thanks to the MCU, we've kind of reached that golden age of cinema.
yeah, I feel like the MCU kind of made it that way. It's just spoiled the crap out of me in terms of like how many good movies and how many movies I'm actually excited to see. And it's just like I have like a never-ending pool of movies that I'm gonna see. And even when they finish with one movie, they're like, here's a teaser for our next one.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's just like a major part in what it's changed for me. Yeah.
So go ahead, Jamie. Thank you, Lewis.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna head out. I got a couple things to take care of before. Yeah.
Thank you so much, though, for joining us tonight, buddy. You have a good night.
Man.
Yeah.
Guys.
Bye. Okay, so I think.
By the way, for those watching, can you figure out what the hell I need to do? I've been running around in a circle for like goddamn 10 minutes. But go ahead, Jamie. Sorry. It's a goddamn kids game, and I don't know what the fuck to do.
Oh, you're watching. Oh, you're on YouTube. Okay. I'm looking that up now.
So, one of the things that I've never really been interested in, like American, or Western. We'll say Western for the sake of it. That I've never been interested in Western media growing up. I was like a more weed type of person, anime, all that junk. It wasn't until
Never mind, figured it out. Sorry, go ahead. Figured it out. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, be for a second.
Sorry.
It wasn't until Iron Man became a movie, and I grew up with those cartoons, like Iron Man cartoon, Spider-Man cartoon, all that stuff, that I got a little bit interested. And I think that's by Avengers, I started reading up on stuff. I started going on wikis, reading all these things, and then I get to join conversations about, oh, what can they be doing next in the movies? But, you know, it's not like actually reading the comics, it's just going on a wiki and reading like summaries and all that such. But I started getting a lot more interested in reading what's going on in Marvel, and recently I started getting into comics now, not manga, like actual issue comics. you may know I've been going. Granted, it's not Marvel. Granted, it's not DC. It's like Power Rangers, whatever. But I started getting into comics. I go to Midtown Comics now and then. I pick up I think I was reading the first Venom issue. There was a new Venom issue coming out, and I'm like reading that because the new Venom movie's coming out. So I'm getting really excited now. And I've never bought comics before. I've never been to a comic shop. I've never done any of these things that way back when I was younger, people would be like, "Oh, you buy comics?" I've never done that, and now I'm doing it, and it's weird. It's weird to be able to collect all these comics, getting these little plastic things and cardboard backs, putting them in the bookshelf, and I'm never gonna open this again. But it's really exciting now to be able to read something like this, to read what's called the source material, and to see how are they gonna do it in what are they gonna do, and being able to discuss with people that doesn't watch anime and whatever, and oh, so this is gonna happen, or all that junk. And it's a lot more exciting, I feel, part of conversation now than I've ever been, because Marvel has become something I could expand into now.
Absolutely.
Just another way just to become a bigger nerd than I was before, and I really do like that, because now I'm not a Japanese nerd anymore. I'm doing all these other things now.
And I'm glad you bring that up, man, because it is something that I did want to stress the fact and the importance of how crazy these movies have been, as far as bringing out the ability to connect with all these other people, and people that you wouldn't never have conversations with, or people that, like Danny said, suddenly this guy is about Marvel, and she's like, yeah, fucking bring it. And it's just it's those type of moments that are just what the MCU has so graciously been able to give us. Jesse, I'm sorry, Jamie, but we're gonna just keep going.
I would tell people is that before the Marvel movies, no one would ever want to be associated with comics and all that stuff. And now with the Marvel movies, it became the norm, and it's for growing up into that has been kind of weird, because then you're thinking, oh, so it was a nerd thing, and now it's an everyone thing. And it's changed a lot how we connect nowadays because of it. There's no stigma or whatever.
Yeah, and Jesse, if you want to just go ahead and tell us what how the MCU's kind of impacted you.
Not much more as in it's motivating me to actually go to theaters opening weekends than waiting 2 weeks. I can't say it really impacted me as much as everyone else has.
Okay, so it's just kind of giving you the motivation to be able to just go out and see these movies, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Still. Joel, if you want to let us know how the MCU's kind of impacted you?
Yeah, actually, MCU impacted me because I wasn't a Marvel fan. I was a Batman fan. I lived and died off of DC's animated movies, the original Dark Knight trilogy, 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton, even the bad Joel Schumacher ones. Batman was my character since I was about 6 years old. And the first Iron Man was just such a grounded story. It was very personal. It was very human. It wasn't this guy flying in a suit around for the whole movie, doing 8,000 things. It was very you follow this one man story. He's broken. He has not a failed company, but a failed vision for his company, stuff like that. And that's what changed it. And I'm honestly now more a Marvel fan, and I guess I love Batman because he's a very human character. He's not some super powered guy, and I guess that's why I love Captain America now, because he's necessarily the same. Obviously, he has the super soldier serum, whatever, but he's still just a guy with a shield and throwing punches.
Yeah.
It's but honestly, the MCU has literally changed, opened up to what I would like to see in heroes, and it's not just one character, it's a bunch of characters. Pretty much made me a Marvel fan. They did their job.
That's pretty cool. Kate, if you want to let us know how the MCU has impacted you.
Alright, let me think actually, because it only really has impacted me. You guys can see me, but I'm doing air impacted me much recently, because I've seen almost all of them. The only one I haven't seen, and this is including Incredible Hulk, by the way. The only one I haven't seen is
Homecoming.
Homecoming. I keep saying that, and I keep mentioning it. Anyway, I'm rambling. But they really impact. Other than like, it's brought me friends and stuff. Like in high school, I finally introduced my friend to the MCU, and she loved it. She's seen more than I have at this point. But I think one of the more recent impacts, again, air quotes, is that. So, fun fact: I do the film reviews for my campus newspaper, and I've done Ragnarok. I did the Friday it came out. I reviewed that. I did Black Panther. Other movies. Did any others come out? But superhero movies in general, because Justice League came out. I've been seeing these, and then now I'm taking a film class next semester, so I can see what I can do to do better. And as a writer, they're just so much fun, and I want to do stuff that ends up on the screen like this. And it's like, it's influenced like my writing for my writing classes, stuff like that. Now I'm 40 pages into a manuscript about superheroes and supervillains. And I guess that's where it goes. It's impacted my writing and my career and stuff like that. My hopeful career.
Well, that's awesome, giving you inspiration to become a better writer and hopefully be one of those that writes one of these movies maybe in the future. Like that's pretty cool.
I want to so bad. Also, if anyone wants to read my manuscript, y'all can just hit me up.
Shameless plug. Let's go. Go for it. Yeah.
Kate, send it to me. I'll read it.
Yeah, post it on the Facebook.
Seriously?
Yeah, post it in the Facebook. Post it in our Discord. We'll gladly, send our little support in what ways we can. Now, Mario, go ahead and let us know how the MCU's impacted you.
Sort of similar to what Joel said, a little touch what everyone else said. I grew up as a DC fan. Like, I watched Static Shock and Batman, Superman shows, and how Marvel really transformed, I think, society as a whole, what's popular now. Like, what was once considered nerdy, if everyone's watching a superhero movie, that's what's cool now, right? And everyone who watches it is cool because you watched the biggest movie of the year, right? Well, not cool, but like, it's no longer you have to watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's super buff, super buff the guy shooting people. Now it's superheroes doing that, and they're the norm. And I'm just grateful that like being nerdy is not like a thing that only some people are. Everyone's a nerd because everyone watches these movies, and it's just something to talk about with everyone. It's just really cool, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that something like that was able to kind of give you that sort of insight and feel that the MCU kind of impacted you like that. Josh, if you want to let us know how the MCU has impacted you.
So, like a lot of the people that have said their piece so far, I grew up with a lot of cartoons that involve Batman. Though of all those series, like my favorite was always the Spider-Man animated series, and like they would even show like the older versions of it, like on Disney Channel or whatever. Spider-Man came out when Columbia Pictures made it. That was like my favorite movie of all time. I said that all throughout like which I did like a film degree for.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man.
And like seeing like Spider-Man come into like MCU was like the thing of my life, and then seeing him get his own movie.
Out of it.
Yeah, you cut out a little.
Sorry.
It's okay. So seeing Spider-Man get his own movie.
Probably like what made me like enjoy the series more, because like I like the Marvel movies, but like most of the characters I actually didn't really know all that well. Like I didn't know Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, any of like the core Avengers, but like characters like Spider-Man, I was like, I'm glad exists.
Yeah, it's something like that just makes you. It opens your perspective, like everyone else has been mentioning. That it turns you towards these things that you never thought of, that you actually might enjoy. Ross, if you want to let us know how the MCU has impacted you.
I honestly don't know what to say for this. I guess I can't think of any like huge me besides the similar thing. I forget who said it. There's been a lot of people about like that was Jamie about like a nerd, and now I also have some Western stuff nerd. And like I've been familiar with Marvel for several years because like of the Legends video games, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance that came out like 10 or 12 years ago. But like now I'm actually, or besides, these are the characters, it's the basics of them, and I'm following this all through like 20 movies, and I'm behind, but trying to watch all the TV shows, and just another nerd thing, I guess. I don't have anything interesting, sorry.
No, it's okay. Patrick, you want to let us know how the MCU's got impacted you?
It's not a ton personally. It's just, I really don't have a lot for this.
That's okay. So Tim, do you have anything to say as far as how the MCU's impacted you?
Yeah, similarly to like some points that like Jamie, Danny, and Kate mentioned, like to Jamie's point, like I'll watch like the movies, or I'll watch like the TV shows, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Netflix series, and then like they'll mention like a character as like an Easter egg or something, and I'll like go online onto like the Marvel wiki, and I'll look them up, and I'll be like, okay, so this character is that character. Like in season 1 of Jessica Jones, that's probably the one that I probably. Like I looked up, Mary, her upstairs neighbor from the first season, and I found out, she's Typhoid Mary in the comics, and then I found out that like she also mentions Angela Delgado, she's White Tiger, and so sort of like similarly to that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish up.
And like I knew that like Trish was gonna become Hellcat at the end of season 2, like way before it even happened. Because like I would like look the stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
To what Danny was saying about having like conversations with people, like at the anniversary party a few weeks ago, it was like myself, Jesse, Will, and then 2 people who aren't here, like we had this like really like in-depth discussion about Infinity War, and it was great.
Yeah, and it's something like that this type of universe can give us. So that's awesome that you say that. Ryan, if you want to go ahead and let us know.
Hold on, I have one more point.
Okay.
And then something like what Kate was saying about like helping her make her like a better writer. Like like I'm a writer, like I like writing screenplays, and it sort of like makes me want to like make like my own superhero like films, like make like my own original hero.
There you go. We got future collab right here. Our own little universe. That's cool.
The RTNYCU.
One bit too hard to say.
So Ryan, you want to let us know how the MCU's impacted you?
Well, to basically go to the opposite end of the academic spectrum from writing, I remember first seeing Iron Man back in 2008, and to this day, it's around 50% of the reason I became an engineer.
Wow, cool.
Because you go into that movie and it's like, and just that entire sequence of him building the Mark II armor is up there as one of my favorite moments too. Because you really get to see the inner workings of the suit in that sequence, and I love every second of it.
Yeah, that's really cool. That has kind of inspired you to choose your career path as far as becoming an engineer. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Good for you.
And now I have a master's degree. So.
Awesome. Good for you.
Sorry.
Humble brag.
Humble brag a little.
Congratulations.
Ryan, you got some dirt on your shoulders you want to brush off there. That's awesome, though.
Make that technology for Infinity War.
So
you guys,
like
I don't know if everyone heard it. Okay, y'all, I'm not sure if everyone heard it, but I have opinions about Infinity War and the forging stuff they did for Stormbreaker. I watch forging videos for fun. I have opinions,
you did bring this up earlier, Kate. You did. We're not talking about that, though. We're not talking about that.
We're not now. Not now.
Sarah, if you want to let us know how the MCU's impacted you.
I think everybody taking them because I'm the last one, or the second to last one. So, the MCU makes me so happy because I found like 3 YouTube YouTubers who talk about comics and talk about like this type of stuff, and I really enjoy the content. It makes me like so happy. Like I said, I have 2 drugs pumping into me: Marvel and Overwatch. So
That's a
so
mood.
so I'm like what Jamie and other people, the other people said. I was growing up with manga, and when my father showed me Iron Man, I was so blown away. Like Iron Man, Iron Man just inspires me because he's self-destructive just like me, like as like suffers with depression, but he fights for it. He fights the depression and everything that he done.
Yeah.
He just inspires me, and and same thing as Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is a cool guy. I would totally hang out and smoke weed with him.
That's awesome. All right, Rex, if you want to let us know how the MCU's impacted you.
Josh probably has some banging weed.
Rex, are you there?
My good Christian Silver.
Well, the main thing is that it really improved my movie watching experience. Like, I go whenever a new Marvel movie comes out. I usually go to the Alamo Draft House to watch it, mainly for the pint glasses, and I have an entire shelf full of them now.
Awesome.
Jesus Christ.
And then it's just it's such a rare thing to be in a room with people who enjoy the same things you do. Like, I only ever get that feeling at like conventions, like our meetups. So it's just like, it's a really nice feeling to be among like-minded and like-interested people, and it's just, I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. That's awesome.
That movie, opening night, Rex, was like electric. Everyone watching.
Yeah,
it
like
together.
you keep everyone's like gasping at the same moments, laughing at the jokes, and you're all in sharing that moment together. And I just love that.
It was electric. It was.
And on that note, with everyone's how MCU's impacted us, I just want to kind of emphasize overall with just how awesome like the timing was that I finished this little campaign here in the game. But I want to emphasize the reason why we brought this up as this month's Let's Talk is that yes, Marvel has become quite the cinematic thing that we become to know and love, and it's been 10 years of just awesome movies that our future generations will be able to sit down and just binge watch an entire generation of film and show them that these movies were a moment in our history where something like this was never attempted. Something like characters from all these different stories would brought together and shown across one giant film. And we had to wait years for these movies, and we can sit down like our future generation and let them know, like, this is what we got to experience. You get to experience this all at once. We had to wait, and you get to like just tell them all about these cool stories that you had when you were watching these movies as they came out, how they impacted society. Just with Black Panther alone, how it impacts, the lower class and lower developed neighborhoods. I just remember hearing about how Disney specifically went to like some lower neighborhoods and bought out some theaters to then have extra showings of Black Panther for underprivileged kids, and it's just awesome to see something like that can go out to the youth and future generations to inspire people to get master's degrees, to people to want to write these movies or to build these awesome contraptions we see in the films. And I just want people to go away, walk away from this Let's Talk feeling that not only is it just awesome entertainment that we get every year, but it's something that is affecting us more ways than one, and it is unifying us in a way that, like and T'Challa said in the end of Black Panther, the illusions of division are what threatens us the most, and the foolish build walls while the wise build bridges, and that's something we need to do now. And something like this, as you know, as something silly as it is, as a movie, it's something that can help us build bridges to connect with people that we never even get to connect with in the first place. So I just want people to kind of think about that. Thank you again, everybody, so much for coming out to tonight's Let's Talk. This has been the biggest Let's Talk we've had since doing this. There was a lot of people here, but that's awesome. I'm glad you guys were able to come out and express your opinions and tell us how these movies impacted you and what you thought about these movies. Be sure to tune in next week when we do all our cool stuff. I know next month we have our E3 is going to be it, so obviously our next month Let's Talk is going to be about E3, so you'll be able to tune into that. And our first Thursday next month, the 7th, so tune in for Jackbox Night as well. And
Woo, yay! I love Jackbox.
what is about tomorrow?
RT Doc Day.
Oh, okay, sorry, thank you. And Sam has just reminded me that tomorrow also is RT Doc Day, that we're going to be marathoning on Rabbit, the RT Docs. So like the tattoo one, the wrestling one, all that cool stuff that all the Rooster Teeth peoples are doing. But again, thank you everybody so much for tuning in and talking it up. And you know, I hope you guys tune in next time. So everyone say good night, stream.
Good night.
Good night, stream.
It was nice. It was so much fun.
Yes.
Bye.
It's up to you, new